All right, so here we go. We're in the last of the videos for kind of the QGIS part of things. I'm going to make one more for Thursday, well, for Wednesday rather, Wednesday night, that will show you how to use Mapbox if you want to publish some of this stuff on the web. But you need not do that if you feel like this is too much content already. So what I want to do is I'm going to remove this table because we've already got it joined. One thought I had was, what if I wanted to see a flipbook of, the same categorization perhaps early in the morning until late or something like that. Maybe I don't really like this color scheme too much, but we know that this is the time around which it was happening, so that's why it's yellow. But anyway, what if we wanted to see some version of a symbolized point symbol map so that it was a flipbook? We saw one map for each day or something like that. So we could kind of see as the days progress whether or not all of these points down here are typical or atypical of the incidents that happen in Boston on a daily basis. So let's look at, because it happens right on the 31st, let's look at just May and June, and we'll try to create a visual that shows one map for each day with points that happen on each day. So to do that, I'm going to change my query here, and I'm actually going to make a new selection. So I'm going to go get rid of that. Okay. And I want to make a new file because the time series tool, I think it'll run pretty slowly if I try to push through all this data. So I'm actually going to make a sub selection, and we're going to say places where the month equals May, or, right, because I want either to be true, or month equals 06 for June. So I say select, and I'm okay with that. I'm going to save selected features as, and we will call this 2020 incidents and arrests underscore May, June. Okay, there we go. And I'm going to, I don't really like this symbology too much, so I'll let it alone. I'll let that die with that file. We'll change the symbology as we go. But so now what I want to do is I only want to see incidents as they happen on the day that they happen. And to do that, there's a plugin. You can go up to Manage Install Plugins and install this Time Manager plugin is what it's called. So when you get that installed, open it up and it will show, it'll kind of have a visibility. What it's going to want though is a format, a specific date format that we don't have. So the first thing I want to do is see, okay, what kind of format does it want? If I open up the settings, I'll see that it wants, this % means some number needs to go in there, like it's kind of an empty, a wildcard symbol. So it's hoping that I'm going to have it formatted in one of these ways. I think this is going to be the easiest and closest one that we can do. So this is the year with a hyphen and a month and a hyphen and a day. So what I want to do is try to format my incidents here to be year, hyphen, month, hyphen, day. So I'm going to open up my attribute table and take a look at how I might do that. So we've got 14,000 features for these 2 months. That's fine. If I go here, I can see, okay, yep, in order to get year, month, day, what I'm going to have to do, I think, is I'm going to have to do a kind of a text query. So just kind of like in Excel, I'm going to have to take the right 2 characters of each of these date codes, right? So I don't want the underscore, I just want 05, and I want 01, right, in that particular case of the entire field. So what I want to do is open up my field calculator, and I'm going to call this new field, let's call it date format, because we're formatting the date. And it's going to be a text and it's going to be pretty long. And this is probably going to be confusing if you haven't done it before, but in Excel you might have encountered this as well. Sorry, you might have encountered this as well. And what we're going to do is we're going to go to Fields and Values, and we're going to concatenate some fields. So we do want year, 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 year. So I'm just going to put that in there, and it pops up. But then we want to concatenate, which is this symbol. In Excel, it's an ampersand, but here we're going to use string concatenation. And we want that hyphen in there too. So I have to use an apostrophe, hyphen, apostrophe. And the apostrophes signify that this is going to be a string or a character that I want. So then I'm going to concatenate again. And I just want the right two of this month and day. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say I want right, which is, you could find that actually under, if you're curious, you can find that under the string commands here. So we're looking for right, which says return a substring that contains the n rightmost characters of the string. So what we're saying is we want the right of, got to format it correctly, so we want the string, which is a field, and that field is going to be month, month. And we want two of them, like that. And so now you can see down here our little sample. It looks like it's working out well. So we want that concatenated with a hyphen, concatenated with the right two of that. And we want another hyphen, actually. So I think I can do the rest of this now without looking at the table. So I'm going to say we want another hyphen, right? So I can concatenate another hyphen, and I can concatenate. I'm going to just copy and paste this thing here. Copy, paste, but I want day, right? So that looks like a properly formatted date code or date format for the tool that we're going to use. So I call that date format. I like it. I think that's going to work. And you know what I'm going to do? Copy this and save it to my little cheat sheet here. So this is convert to date format. So if it doesn't work, I can come back and fix it later. So that's my statement right there. Say OK. And let's see if it worked. It looks like it did. So just to double check, I go through and I see all of May and all of June. Very good. Okie doke. So I've got what I need. Make sure I hit save. And then we're going to hit toggle editing mode. And we're ready to jump into the tool. Okay, so assuming you formatted it correctly. Okay, so if you've opened up your time, your kind of time plugin, your time manager plugin here, the default I think is seconds or something like that. So make sure to turn this into a 1 day, because that's the time unit that we're going to be looking at. And so now what we want to do is we're going to go into our settings, and we want to add a layer. And I'm going to add, the 2020 incidents and arrests May, June. The start time is going to be our date format, and that should like automatically tell that we have a date format. I think it'll be okay. And if you were dealing with more complex time data, you can do kind of a start time and an end time, where something pops in and then maybe it exists for a while and then it goes away. But the difference here is that we've just got kind of single incident. One incident is represented by being, it's kind of binary. It's either existing or not existing in one field. So in one field, we've got kind of this binary concept of yes, it happened then, or no, it didn't. And so our date format here, our start time and end time are the same. So we're just going to leave it like that. That should be fine. And you know, if you wanted to, with some things, you can accumulate the features. So, perhaps if you wanted to see over time, if different types of features happen in a place, they'll stay on instead of shutting off after they no longer have happened. I'm going to leave that off though. So I think that's going to work. I say OK. And let's just make sure. I think that's fine. It's just telling us it's the same. The default here is also kind of high. It's like 500 milliseconds. I'm not exactly sure what it should be. I don't really know what it should be. I think it was, so that must be half a second or something. I think that's the default. So we could just see how it works. Display frame start time on map. Yeah. Okay. It might take a second, but there. See, now it's already said, okay, May 1st to June 30th, and we should be able to go. There we go. So now we can go frame by frame and see what's happening. So that's interesting. So yeah, and you know, you should be able to hit play and kind of watch it go. Depending on how heavy the data are, it may or may not play at real-time speed, that, you know, the speed that you were hoping for. But yeah, we're about to get to that time here. So let's see. Yeah, there's the big one, and it looks like that was kind of atypical. You know, more of a bunch than we'd seen before. If this data set here that we're looking at now, kind of on this daily basis, were categorized or symbolized to highlight, you know, time of day or type of crime, or, you know, type of incident, I should say, then I think some type of visual like this might be interesting for my question, which was, you know, do the data kind of bear out that there was police activity to respond to what was happening? And, you know, I tried the heat maps. I've tried different, you know, kind of the time variable. And the next step would be to try classifying it in different ways. And so hopefully I could alter my work plan to come up with a series of outputs that might help me make some kind of convincing geovisualization. So if you want to export this, you can try to export it as an animated GIF, but you need another plugin, I think. The easier way is to just export each frame as a separate map. And so you can just pick a folder to put those exports into, and it will create slides. And all of those slides, you can either combine them into one PDF, or you could use an online tool to turn them into a GIF or some kind of autoplay video, or you could put it into any kind of video editing software. So kind of a cool tool, and I hope it's interesting to you instead of intimidating, because it's a pretty fast way to kind of paw through time data and get a more kind of efficient way to look at it. You know, otherwise you'd have to query individually and create a bunch of different files. But with this, you can even, you know, now that we've got this kind of play-by-play for each day, you know, you can go, and when you adjust your symbology here, it's going to change it for all of it. So it's just one file. So, you know, we could even see, yeah, here we go, classify. And clearly, I need to, if I was going to do this, I would need to go and clean up the symbology so it's more meaningful. But kind of cool that we can do this. So I'm just kind of talking now. I'm gonna stop so we can, you guys can focus on other stuff, and I will do a Mapbox video for Wednesday. All right. Thanks for sticking through. Hope you've learned something. All right. See you Wednesday. Bye.